Hello, welcome back to my JigStones workshop. As you can see, I've been turning out a few castings which I made last night. I leave them overnight to set because there's no great rush to use them today, so they might as well stay as long as they can in the mould. It gives a much crisper finish once they're set. As you can see, that's one I haven't turned out yet. They're very easy. Just release each side of the block and it should just come out very neatly. There are also a couple of different designs on this particular mould. The first ones I produced were like that, which is the older one, so if you're using Jig-Stones you might have a mould which looks like that rather than one which looks like that. But they're all the same, and the silicone rubber used, which is still true today, is very, very long lasting. You can turn out blocks until almost kingdom come. Today I want to show how to mix up the cement and sand which I use. It's 2 parts of cement to 1 part of sand, and I'll show you that next. The kind of sand I use is ordinary builder's sand with all the grit removed. That's what comes out of it. I don't like using grit in my castings because if I have to sand the castings down to fit any particular circumstance, it makes it more difficult trying to file through stone basically. And I use an ordinary flour sieve to sieve the builder's sand, which ends up with a nice fine mix like that. And the cement I use, this isn't a commercial for Wicks, but just to give you a good idea, I use Wicks Rapid Setting Cement, which suits my purposes fine. I see no problem with that stuff. If you're in another country, it probably makes no sense to you showing you that, but you'll have your own brands available, I should think. So what we have is cement and sand. I've already mixed this up. This is 2 parts of cement, 1 part of sieved sand. Don't breathe in the powder which comes into the atmosphere. It's best to wear a mask, and I'm going to get one now. Which will probably make my voice sound even more funny. One main thing to watch here is your health. Reminds me of Emergency Ward 10 for some reason. Right, so any powder which comes into the atmosphere is at least I'm protected slightly. Now I use mixing containers, pot noodles in this occasion, and if they're flexible you can just knock out all the old stuff quite easily. And that's enough to be able to use it again. Get rid of that. Now, one trick I've found is to put water in the bottom first, which means that the cement you put in is going to be wet right down to the bottom, which makes it a lot easier to mix up. There we go, just a bit more, and we'll see how that comes out. I tend to use it like it's thick custard, like that. You can have it a bit thicker, but I find because I can leave the moulds for some time to set, having a slightly sloppy mix makes it a lot easier to pour. that goes in the mould. Make sure that all the hollow parts of the mould are filled right to the bottom. Just tap it along. That removes the air bubbles. Top it up. And then just skim off like that. Needs a bit more. It's a bit of a messy job, but you know, don't do it on your kitchen table. Just keep wiggling it slightly, and that's that. Leave it. I leave mine overnight. That is too wet to turn out today. If you want a thicker mix, then just put in more. That's come out too thick now. That's slightly thicker now. And I've got a mould which is half filled from yesterday's. The thing about this stuff is that you can just keep adding to it. So if I fill that up, that's sorted that one out. Now the reason there's a hole cut out there is because I use seconds. I use second moulds because I used to, as you probably know, I used to produce the moulds for Jig-Stones. I kept all the seconds myself, and on this particular mould there was a defect there, so I just got rid of it. This is really why I have so many moulds here. People who are using Jig-Stone moulds might not be quite as lucky as this. But I believe there are some cooperative groups around which pull all their moulds together, which makes a lot of sense, and then they can each in turn use them all and churn out blocks over a week or so. It makes it a lot faster for every person to use them. So that's all it is. You just leave that to set, smooth off the top, and tomorrow morning I'll turn those out and add them to the rest which I'm collecting for my next model.